Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. This is Kay Wilson here, joining you live today in our Canadian Immigration Hub Facebook group. Happy to have you guys here. Please comment below. Let me know where you're joining me from. Say hi, as per usual. We're going to have an awesome session today. Let me see in the comments who is here. I hope you guys are excited to learn more about IELTS because it's something that you will need for your Canadian immigration application. And it's very, very important, right? So, yeah, comment below. Let me see who's with me. Hi, Crystal. Welcome, Crystal from Barbados. Great to have you. And I see Darcia from Jamaica. Hi, Gaynell from Jamaica. Great, great. Awesome. I feel like it's been quite a while. Yeah, so today we'll be doing our session on IELTS exam. So we'll be looking at what the exam entails and how can you prepare for the exam adequately. If there are areas that you're struggling with, we'll be looking at that as well and how you can improve. And especially if you are, which I know most of you are, you're from an English-speaking country, so English is your first language, right? But when you're doing it in an exam setting, it's going to be a little different than how you would use the, hi Nikki, welcome. It's going to be a little different than how you would use the language in your everyday use, conversations and so on. So we're going to have Monica, who's a representative from IELTS Canada, and she'll be talking with you guys a little bit about the test. So she'll be sharing a presentation on that. So definitely stay tuned. And if time permits, I'll be joined as well by another guest who is an IELTS certified trainer. And he will be able to tell you about his experience helping people just like you improve their IELTS results. So you can go from a band 5 or 6 or 7 all the way up to a band 9, right? And that's the ideal position. That's where you want to be for your immigration application. It's very important because a lot of weight hinges on language tests. And so if you're looking for a way to come to Canada without doing IELTS, or doing language testing for that matter, there are not a lot of options, right? So it's all in the mind. It's a mindset. Position your mind and get the help that you need. So if you think that maybe you're struggling with listening, maybe that's an area that you're challenging, get help, right? Get somebody who can help you with your technique. For the listening part of things, it's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot to do with technique and how you handle that part of the exam. Some are struggling with reading. Comment below and let me, I would love to see where everyone is at. Have you done the test before? Have you registered for the test? Like, where are you right now? Are you waiting to get a date? Have you done it already and you're trying to improve your score? Where's everybody at? Okay, so Gaynell said never done it before. Shelly Ann says I'm waiting for a date. Okay, so a lot of people are actually waiting to write the test. So this is actually a great time to prepare and to ensure that when you do get that test date, you are fully prepared to do well. Because even just to resit the exam, it's expensive. You have to pay again, you have to study again, you have to prep again. So of course, so a lot of people, so there's a mixture here of those who have never done it before, as well as those who are waiting to get a date. Okay, and I see Nerissa joining us from YouTube. Welcome. So Nerissa is waiting to get a date. Okay, awesome. Hi, Carlene. Welcome. All right, so I'm going to invite Monica to join us now. So Monica is going to really take it away. She's going to be the focal point for today's session. And she'll be sharing with you guys some great tips on how you can ace this test and be on your way to Canada. All right, so let's get Monica in. Hi, Monica.
Hi, Kay. Thank you so much for having me over. I'm thrilled and delighted to be here and also seeing so many people join in from so many different countries and many countries that I unfortunately have not been able to visit, but I'm looking forward to visit it soon as we can travel again.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm happy to have you here. So Monica is gonna take it away from here. And she's our IELTS expert. She's from IELTS IDP Canada, and they are the owners of the IELTS test. So here she is.
Thank you so much. I'm just gonna make sure that you can see my screen. Can you see my presentation, Kay?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Okay, so as Kay said, my name is Monica Aguirre. I am the Stakeholder Relations Manager for IDP IELTS Canada. So first of all, let's talk about, IDP, IELTS, and, what is this? Who are you? Why is IDP connected to IELTS? A lot of people don't know this, but we're actually one of the co-owners, and there are three of them, and we are one of them. So IDP Education is actually an Australian company that has more than 50 years experience helping out travelers and students around the world. And 31 years ago in 1989, we came together with our partners, Cambridge and British Council, to create IELTS. And it's important that we're pronouncing IELTS over and over again, because believe me, there are many people who still do not know how to pronounce IELTS. I get people saying, oh yeah, the IELTS or the IELTS. So let's all say together, IELTS. Okay, so what is IELTS specifically? So IELTS stands for International English Language Testing System, and it is the world's most recognized English language test around the world. It is recognized by more than 10,000 organizations. We're actually getting close to 11,000. We're also recognized by government of Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and UK for migration purposes. So that's really big also, because we're trusted by these governments. And we're also trusted by organizations such as employers, universities, professional registration bodies in Canada, in the USA, and around the world as well. So we did mention, those countries where the governments actually accept IELTS because it is so secure and so good. But the key destinations where people are taking IELTS is because these destinations are English speaking, and here they are: Australia, Canada, the UK, United States, and New Zealand. We as IELTS are recognized around the world, not only by governments, but universities. Just a few examples, like very little examples of the many universities that accept us, are University of Toronto, McGill, Harvard, Yale, MIT, and from employers, Deloitte, Ministry of Jobs, Tourism and Innovation, Air New Zealand. We're talking about professional registrations. We have the Nursing and Midwifery Board of Australia, as well as the Ontario Colleges of Nurses here, General Medical Council. And again, this is just very, very small sample of the many organizations that receive IELTS every single day. Okay, so IELTS, as I was mentioning before, is the most recognized test. In 2019, we had close to 3.7 million tests that were taken around the world. Of course, 2020 hit with COVID-19, and these numbers were reduced because we did have to close a lot of test centers around the world. But now we are back open in more than 100 countries in the world, including Canada. Okay, Just to let you know, so I'm not seeing the comments right now. So if I can ask you to please hold on your questions until the end of the presentation, so I'm going to be able to see the questions and we're going to be able to have this interaction and I can answer those. Thank you so much. Okay, so overall, again, just to summarize, why take IELTS? Because it is accepted for study abroad, even also for domestic programs. So it's the most highly recognized English proficiency test. It's used for university application, exchange programs, migration purposes, as well as professional registrations. So why take IELTS? Well, we do offer a fast turnaround results with our computer delivered IELTS. And I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about computer delivered IELTS because some people get confused with computer delivered versus paper-based. And the test results can be given between 5 to 7 days, but right now we're actually giving results between 3 to 5 days. We also offer a face-to-face speaking test, which it's very different from other tests because you're not talking into a machine while you have maybe 100 or maybe 20 other people in the room speaking at the same time. I don't know if it's happened to you that you're talking and then suddenly you have someone say a word, let's say bread, and you're talking about IELTS and they're suddenly like, oh yeah, the bread, I'm so sorry, IELTS. It just gets in your head, it's a worm that gets into your brain and it's just stuck there. So imagine when you're taking a test that you've studied so long to get ready for, and then suddenly you get distraction. So the face-to-face test is done in a separate room with an examiner. It is recorded because we do want to have a recording of this examination, but it also allows you to ease into the conversation as well. So IELTS on computer can also give you a lot more test dates because it can take in up to 7 days a week, 3 times per day, and it is internationally recognized, and we just talked about, and their results also are valid for 2 years. Okay, so IELTS offers, with IDP IELTS, we have IELTS Academic and General, IELTS on Computer, and for those applying to go to the UK, we also have IELTS for UKVI and Life Skills as well. So I was mentioning about computer-delivered IELTS and how there's a little bit of misunderstanding. Some people don't know that IELTS can be taken on a computer, but also on paper. It's the same test. Both are taken at a secure test center. Because it's computer delivered does not mean it's online. It just means that it's as a test center. And the difference really is that you take your test on the computer. You're typing your answers, you're using a mouse, you are in front of the screen. There are many people still around the world that prefer to take it on paper because they're not comfortable sitting in front of a computer. They are not very tech savvy, even though you don't have to be tech savvy, or they don't know that they feel that they're not that good typing in for the essay portion of the writing portion of the test. They prefer to do it by hand, or maybe there is no other option available where they are in order to take the test. And also, as I mentioned before, the test results are come between 3 to 5 days when you take IELTS on computer. If you take IELTS on paper, the results come after 13 days. The speaking portion of the test is exactly the same. Also, the reading, listening, writing is exactly the same amount of time. The booking registration is pretty much the same. There's only a little bit of a difference. If you're booking a computer delivered IELTS, when you're booking the speaking test, you will be able to book your time right away. When it's paper-based, you may have to wait a little bit to book your, not a little bit, just within a few days, or a few hours actually, to book the speaking portion of the test. Now here we see the listening, reading, writing, speaking. So let's take a little bit more about that format of the test for both academic and general. When you're going to take the test, you need to make sure that you know what you are using the test for. Is it for migration purposes? Is it for employment? Is it for studies, university? Or is it for a professional registration? You have to check with the organization that you're sending those tests what type of test they require. Is it academic or is it general test? The academic IELTS test is going to be focused more on, as the word says, an academic, of academia, while the general test will really test on the day-to-day use of the language. Okay, so as I mentioned, there are 4 sections of the test: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. The length of the test is the same for both academic and general test. For listening, 30 minutes, you do 4 sections. There are 40 questions plus 10 minutes to transfer your answers, if you have taken notes, and you only hear the recorded ones. For the reading portion of the test, there's 60 minutes with no additional time to transfer answers. So all of these things are really important because, when you are preparing to take the test, it's like with any test, even if you're a native speaker of English, you're not going to go and take the SATs to go to the US just because you're native speakers. You're not going to study. You have to study. It's a test either way. So 60 minutes with no additional time to transfer answers. There's a total of 3 questions. So 40 questions at about, we have to read about 2,000 to 2,700 words in total. Then the writing tasks. So they have 60 minutes to write 2 essays or 2 tasks. Task 1, minimum 150 words. Task 2, minimum 250 words. And the speaking test, it is divided in 3 sections. It's about 11 to 15 minutes long. The first section is an introduction where you come in, you talk to the examiner. As I was mentioning before, you just ease into the conversation a little bit. They ask you about your hobbies, what you do, where you live. And then you go into an individual, a little bit a long term, 3 to 4 minutes. They ask you a little bit more questions about that hobby, or they ask you a general question and ask you to discuss a little bit more. And then the third part is a 2-way discussion. You just enhance a little bit of that specific topic that you were talking before. And the IELTS scores. So there is no fail or pass with IELTS. We have 9 bands. So go from 1 to 9, and in between we have half bands. So why do I say that there's no fail or pass? Because the score that you're trying to get is the score that is recommended by that organization when you're trying to apply. If you're applying to a university, if the university is asking you to get a academic IELTS with a score but no lower than 6.5, then they're asking for someone who is in between competent and good user. And again, it doesn't mean that you don't know English. It just means that this is what the organization is looking for. So here is a description of the bands. And let's get into, I think, what you've all been waiting for, which is the planning and preparation. As I said, for any test, you gotta prepare. You gotta make sure that you're putting in the hours. You are learning to drive and you're going to take a driving test. You're going to take your mom and dad or your friend's car, drive it around a little bit, know how to do parallel parking, all of these things before you actually sit the test. Same is with IELTS or with any other test, regardless if you are a native or not native speaker of English. And, some people may think, I have a German accent. I don't know, but accents don't matter. It's about how you make yourself understood and how you're using the language. So we have a couple of different resources to help you prepare. So one of them is a familiarization test that you can do for free online. And here on this screen, you can see where you can find these resources. So on IELTSessentials.com/familiarization-test. So it's a free test. Again, here it tells you what it's going to focus on, the listening, reading, and writing. And you're going to see that what it consists of. All of these free resources, we highly recommend that you go and take advantage of them. There are people who might be taking some classes. And, if you're not in an English setting, you may want to try to get into an English mentality as soon as possible. And English mentality, what I mean is listening to music, listening to podcasts, watching some TV, reading, so that you get your mindset into that exam day that you're going to be reading, writing. See examples online as well.
And guys, we'll be posting the links that Monica is mentioning. We'll be posting them in the comments in the session as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Kay. Okay, we also have IELTS Masterclass. So you may think like, what are masterclass? So this is a free 90-minute IELTS Masterclass, which is a webinar that we do every couple of weeks. And it's an IELTS expert talking about what to expect on test day. Talking about the reading portion, what they see are what people tend to make the most mistakes. If it's on punctuation, is it on run-on sentences? Just to give you tips and ideas of what to look for. I will recommend the IELTS Masterclass for someone who is, ready to go and take the test, or they know they already have a test date. If you've never taken IELTS and if you don't know when you're going to take IELTS, I recommend you save going into an IELTS Masterclass just yet, because it's not going to be so useful to you right now. So first, go into that familiarization test, go to the other ones I'm going to show you right now, and then go into an IELTS Masterclass. Okay, so when you register to take an IELTS test with an IDP test center, so again, I'm just going to go back to the beginning when I said that we are one of the proud co-owners. You also have British Council, and both IDP and British Council, we are the ones who bring the test to you, the test takers. So there are countries where you're going to see a test center, just IELTS the center. It could be IDP, it could be British Council, but you also have countries where only one of the partners are going to be present. So I'm going to talk on behalf of IDP. So when you do get into an IDP test center, when you book an IELTS test with IDP, you will get it's called the IELTS preparation test offer. It's called IELTS Master, which is with Macquarie University, and offers you a free course and on one module of the test for 30 days for you to prepare. So it's, you choose if it's speaking, reading, listening, or writing, and they give you a free course for 30 days for that one module. If you want to extend that, if you want to buy other modules, you can do it at a discounted price. I'm not going to play the videos. Okay, and this is my favorite resource of all. This is a paid resource. It's a paid practice test, which is an official IELTS practice test. It's called IELTS Progress Check. What it is, you may be asking. Well, it's a practice test that you can take from your home at your computer, and it will test you the same way as the actual test. You can choose a test if you're taking general or academic when you're purchasing. The price is approximately 60 Canadian dollars plus the local tax. Now, I do recommend that you check online on this website, or if you go to IELTSprogresscheck.com, because it is not available in every country. I know, for example, if you're in India, it is not available yet in India. But in a lot of countries, it is available. If you are trying to use a VPN to purchase, if it's not in your country, use a VPN. It will, when you are purchasing the test, this practice test, it will ask you for a phone number from that country where you're buying from. So just take that into consideration so that you don't get frustrated. And this IELTS Progress Test that's a test, all 4 sections of the test. The speaking part is done, you do a recording into the computer, and within 5 days after you've completed the practice test, you will receive an indicative score telling you what you would get if you were to take the test on that day. And also, it will give you individual scores for each of the sections of the test, just as you would for the real test. but they will also provide you some feedback in where to improve and how to improve. This feedback is not going to be personalized, like, hi, Kay, you missed this one comma here. No, it's going to be more general, but it will help you also get ready for the test day. We recommend taking IELTS Progress Check or purchasing IELTS Progress Check when you are getting ready to get to know the structure of the test, and or before you take your test, in order to know how you're going to do, or if you also want to see in which section of the test you have a weaker side and where you need to focus your energy on when you're studying. We also have other resources such as IELTS Reading and Writing Assist. So some of you may have already taken IELTS, and either on reading or writing you had a score that was lower that you needed. So you can purchase either IELTS Reading or Writing Assist, and it will be the one section that you're going to have a practice on. It's going to be a practice test. It is a paid resource. It's about 40 Canadian dollars, and you can purchase it online as well, and you will receive some feedback from an IELTS examiner as well. And we also have some practice tests. Now, with practice tests, you do not receive any feedback, and you do not receive what is the score that you would usually get. That's why the paid resources do give you that, because you are paying for someone to actually give you that feedback and take a look at your scores and give you a indicative score. Okay, and on our website too, we have some support, some guides that you can download, take a look at it, give you some information on where to go. I also recommend you visit our YouTube website. I don't know if I have it here right now, but I believe it's IDP IELTS, and I'll come back to you for after this just to confirm that, because you can also take a look at a couple of speaking test sessions. You will see what the speaking session is like. I don't know about you, but for me, let's say when I'm driving somewhere that I don't know, I like to Google the route that I'm going to take and see, okay, I know I have to pass exit 95. So I know the exit 95 is going to look like this. I like to be prepared so I know what to expect. If you're like me, then watching these videos is going to be really good, again, because you will know what to expect. So on test day, you're going to have all the professional staff that work at a test center, and you're going to help you with the registration. We ask you to please do not bring anything fancy. Don't bring your smartwatch. Don't bring your cell phone. If you're going to bring it, you're going to have to leave it in your backpack, in your purse. Some of these centers also provide headphones. Listening is adjustable as well. Pencils and erasers are provided also for you to take notes. And after, you will be able to receive your results online. You can preview them, and you can also receive notifications if you choose to. So when you are registering to take IELTS test, the registration will ask you if you give permission to text you. So that's very important. So pay attention when you are filling out that registration form. Also, when you're registering, you get to send 5 scores for free to 5 organizations. So if you are applying to 5 different universities, then you get to, and these universities accept IELTS results directly from IELTS, then you're going to be able to choose them there. If they're not listed, you can enter their information, and the test center is going to send via email or mail their results directly. You will also have a copy of your result. You will receive an email to preview your results and explain it. That email is not official. What is official? Official is the test report form, or TRF, which, as a sample, looks like this. It will have your candidate information, the individuals and overall scores, also a unique number, which we call TRF. And just to let you know, universities, colleges, governments, anywhere that accept IELTS officially they have a way of verifying these results. Throughout the pandemic and here in Canada, just a few months ago, we had a surge in people wanting to take IELTS because of immigration news. And we unfortunately saw so many people trying to take advantage of those who needed to take IELTS. And they were saying, no, we'll sell you an IELTS test result. Don't worry, you just pay 1,000 and just pay this much. You know what? It doesn't work. And that organization, again, be the government of Canada, be the University of Wisconsin, be wherever you go, they're going to be able to see it. So if they catch you, having a falsified TRF IELTS result, or from any other, really, you're going to be in trouble and you're going to be banned. And if you are the one, you got your results and somehow you're like, well, I didn't get the 5.5 that I needed, so I'm going to just change it around. I'm going to scan it and no one is going to notice. Well, if an organization says that you did that and they can confirm it, again, they can verify this result, then you are going to be banned from taking IELTS for up to 2 years. So please, please, please don't do this. Just study, make sure that you have the time right now to study. Many of us are maybe working from home, have a little bit more time in our hands. Use this time to study. We are testing here in Canada, across the country. We are open, as I was mentioning, and around the world, we are open in more than 100 countries. If you're not in Canada, I invite you to go to IELTS.org and to see what testing is open or near you, or if it's your country, we are testing at the moment. So that's it for me over here. Okay, Kay, do we have questions?
All right. Thank you so much, Monica. Excellent presentation. So guys, you can post your questions in the comments. Monica probably have 5 to 10 minutes to answer those questions. So feel free to post them below and we'll answer them. So let's see.
Yeah. Perfect. So while people are typing their questions, just anecdotally, we have people who are trying to, people who are native speakers of English who have to take the test for a professional association, and they feel so confident. I speak English. I don't need to do this. I went to university. Again, when you go in and they don't get the result, it doesn't mean that they get a bad result. Again, there's no fail or pass. They just don't know the structure of the test. That's why you study. That's why you go into an IELTS progress check and you know exactly how the structure of the test is, what they are going to ask you. So I see the question here. How do you register for a computer delivered IELTS? That's a really good question. Thank you so much, Andrea. So when you are registering for your IELTS test, it will usually show you either with an icon, that's a computer icon, or a paper icon to let you know whether or not it's computer or paper-based. Another way to know, and there's a lot of times that this is how people know, is that computer delivered IELTS can be taken pretty much any day of the week, while paper delivered IELTS is only given on Saturdays and one Thursday a month. I hope I was able to answer your question.
And then I see a question, somebody asking, how do Caribbean nationals take the test? For those in the Caribbean, the test is offered in Trinidad and in Jamaica. So those are the only 2 countries, and it's offered at the University of the West Indies. So that's where you take the test. There's another question, how is the computerized test taken? I'll give that to Monica.
Yeah, so the computer delivered test taken is you pretty much just, once you book it, you know your date, you go to the test center where you booked it, and it's pretty much just the same, the same things that you're going to do for the paper delivered test. You go in, you have the registration, they take your passport, they take your picture, they take your fingerprint, and then you go in and you take the test on a computer instead of on a piece of paper.
Right. So you're still required to go to the test center. You're not doing it
Yes.
from home. You're gonna still have to go into
No.
the test.
No, so that's why I wanted to make sure that people understood that what the difference is. Computer delivery is not an online test. We do have practice tests that are online, but they are practice. They're not the actual test. You have to go into a test center.
Okay. And somebody's asking, what's the cost for taking the IELTS test?
So really, you have to take a look into your like where you can take it, and they will give you the price. There are times that there are test centers that go to a remote location, so there may be a little of a different price, but I do recommend that you go on the website and if you're taking in Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, and take a look at the price there. All the prices are given up front, so you don't have to later on pay extra.
Right. Absolutely. Let's see. I think we've answered most of the questions.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
So
did see.
if,
Yeah, so go ahead.
yeah, there's one that says if you receive an unsatisfactory score, can you take the test again in a month or two?
So if you took the test and you didn't get the score that you were looking for and you need to retake it again, you can take the test whenever you want again. We do not have a limit or a minimum amount of time that has to pass before you can rebook your test again. So the moment that you receive your scores and you didn't get what you needed, I recommend booking another test right away. But at the same time, while you're waiting for the test, go and look at one of the practice resources that we just gave you so that you can really get that score that you need.
Right. Okay. And then somebody's asking, is the cost the same for both tests, computerized versus a paper-based?
Yeah, it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same.
Okay. And what's the cost for the test in Canada? So they have an idea. They convert.
Yeah. So in Canada, it's approximately 320 Canadian dollars.
Okay. Awesome. Let's see what else is here. See quite a few questions coming up. Why do always change testing venues at late hours? I'm not sure if Monica can answer that because it would really depend on where you're doing the test and what's happening there in the country that you're in, right?
Definitely. And a lot of times, so a test center may reach out to partners. Let's say, for example, in Jamaica, they reach out to a partner in another Caribbean country, let's say in Dominican Republic, for example. And they're going to go and test in Dominican Republic, but they have to send their own people there. So that's why suddenly you have an opening in Dominican Republic. So it doesn't mean that they always test in Dominican Republic. It's just that there's an opening there because they saw an opportunity in Dominican Republic to open because there were many test takers. And just so that you know that there might be an increase in price there because it is a one-off type of test that they're bringing in. They're flying people in to for other people to take the test.
Take the test. Okay. And then a question that I usually get, Monica, is if I took the test, say I took the test this month, and then maybe next month I decided to resit because I wanted to improve my score, but maybe the second time around, my score was lower. Can I go back and I revert to the old test results that I have?
That's really, yeah. So that really depends on what you're using the scores for. So when you sat that first session of the test and you got the result that you were not happy with, but those results were needed for, let's say, a university or a immigration purpose. But when you were registering, you chose for your scores to go to that organization. So when you register for the second time, if you're telling them also to send the results to the organization or to the university, then the scores are going to go. So it is up to you to go to that organization and say, please accept this one, or to ask them which ones they will accept. So IELTS does not do individualized scores. It's a one score for that one sitting test that you have. So we do individualize for each band, but we don't mix and match like the vaccines.
Right. Right. Okay. Makes
I had
sense.
to bring it up.
And so I think I see some questions about what's the pass mark. So there's no pass or fail with the test. The grade or the score that you're looking to get will depend on the immigration program that you're applying to, right? And we looked at that in our workshop. We looked at the minimum scores that were required for the different programs. So it's going to be what program you're applying to. But like I mentioned before, you want to do well, right? As high a score as you
Yes,
can get, that's what you're aiming for.
exactly. And if it's for immigration, that's key. Because a lot of people say, "Oh, how much do I need for immigration?" Well, for immigration to Canada, at least, the
Yeah.
higher the score, the better the
Yes.
points you're gonna get. And
Yes.
again, there's no pass or fail, and the test must be taken at a test center. There is no online test. There is a computer deliver or paper. It's just an option at the test center. I cannot reiterate this enough. Please don't get confused. There's no online test, especially if you're taking the test for immigration to Canada. It has to be general IELTS unless you are applying for a school. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kay, because you are the registered immigration consultant.
So, and another question I get too, like for students who want to come to Canada to study, the school may require, some sort of language testing to be done. Can they do that online, like for the academic IELTS? Is there an online?
So, yes, that is a great question. So last year, when the pandemic hit and we had to close, many of our test centers around the world, we did bring out IELTS, an IELTS indicator, which is an academic online IELTS test that was offered in pretty much all of the countries and accepted only for universities and some registration bodies. Now, IELTS indicator is not longer online, except in a few countries that are still having troubles with COVID and with a lot of COVID numbers. The majority of countries right now, as I was mentioning, more than 100 countries, have the test center open. There are, of course, a lot of restrictions. So, if a test center before could host 100 candidates at a time, right now they probably may be able to hold 30 at a time, or depending on the local restrictions. The IELTS indicator, if you were able to take IELTS indicator when it was available, it is also valid for 2 years. And if the organization that you're applying to is one of the main organizations that accepted IELTS indicator, then you can send the results to them and they can verify them online.
Okay, perfect. And then one final question. I see we're almost out of time. If somebody's asking, will you have to retake all the tests or just the area that you want to improve?
Thank you for that. It is the entire test. I was mentioning before that you don't choose which section of the test you can take. You must take the entire test. And, I want to take this opportunity really to thank you, Kay, for bringing me on. These are amazing questions. Thank you so much for everyone who came and joined me. I unfortunately do have to go. I do have another event to attend virtually, of course. But I really want to thank you for this time.
Thank you so much, Monica. We really appreciate your very insightful presentation. And definitely, guys, you can post your comments below if you have additional questions. I can always forward them to Monica even after the session, and we can get some answers for you. Thank you so much again, Monica, for joining us, and have a great rest of your afternoon.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, guys. So that was a very, very great presentation from Monica. And then looking at the comments, I'm seeing a lot of people said that it was very informative. So I hope that this will help you guys to, now that you have a better understanding of the test, you have some amazing resources that you can use to help with your test preparation, especially for those of you who are waiting to sit the test or you're waiting for your test center to open. This is a great time to prepare. Do not underestimate this test, especially I find that with English speakers, we tend to think, well, I speak English and I'm really good at English, so I'm not even going to prepare. Don't take that approach, especially if you value the goal and the journey of getting to Canada, right? You have to put in the work. Don't underestimate it. Don't take it for granted. Even if you go and look at the practice test maybe once or twice, like do something, get familiar with the test, have a great grasp of what you'll be required to do. And then, of course, like with all exams, technique is going to be very important, right? So I'm going to bring on one final guest today. So I have a little extra, a little bonus for you guys. This should really be quick. So I'm going to bring in Daisel. Daisel is an IELTS master tutor, and he's going to come and introduce himself. Yes, I agree, Crystal. Don't underestimate that test, right? Even I've seen language, really great people who are very good at the English language and they did really well, in an academic setting with the test, and then they write the exam and they're some of them have even tried to dispute the results because they felt that they should have done better, right? So don't underestimate that test. So I'm going to bring in Daisel. He's going to talk to you guys about, his services. So he's an IELTS tutor that we're working with, and he's been working with IELTS students for years. And so if you guys need that additional support in the form of like a real human, even after you have gone through the practice test online, you may need somebody to help you with improving maybe your speaking or your listening or your writing, your reading. I know a lot of people struggling with listening, and some people struggle with the reading portion of the test. So if you're looking for support, I'm going to bring him in, and he can talk to you about it. Hi, Daisel. Welcome.
Hi, Kay. It was nice meeting you today. Okay, so I'll just introduce myself. I am an IELTS trainer for more than 8 years. I'm a CELTA qualified IELTS tutor, teaching the listening, reading, writing, and speaking component of the IELTS test. So basically, if you have any questions or if you need any support, additional support, I am there to help you with the IELTS classes. So you can book classes through the organization and then
Post a link. And if you guys are looking to get any sort of help with this, so we post the link below. You can, somebody says the reading is the most difficult. You can sign up to get individual support with him. You can book a session. The sessions last 1 hour. So we'll have the links posted, and he's at your disposal. Disa, can you tell them about your experience working with students to prep them for IELTS?
So basically, I have experience teaching from very basic level to very advanced level. So if you need help in any areas like reading or listening, I can help you in improving that skills by offering you tips and advice as to how to improve that, and also show how you can improve these skills, like through exercises and activities, which can help to improve your individual skills and to raise your band from one level to the other. Yeah.
Are there any, so I'm seeing the comments, reading and listening are both difficult. Do you have any tips that you could give them for improving?
Yeah. So yeah, basically it's a good idea to learn the strategies of listening and reading. There are several methods which can be applied. If you go to the websites of British Council or IDP Australia, you can get more information on how to approach this. It's also helpful to practice with a tutor. Like I can also offer you the techniques of improving each of those skills based on the task sets. Like it's also a good idea. Like for example, if you're doing reading, you could categorize the different kinds of tasks and then see which area you are good at and which you're weak at. For example, in reading, there could be matching tasks, and those matching tasks might be difficult, and focus on that area which you are weak at. If you come for a one-to-one lesson with me, I could help you to actually work on these particular areas and how to approach them individually. It's best to look at them separately rather than together. in one session. So that's what I can give you at the moment. But if you have any questions or any difficulties, come back. And then if you need a regular classes, I can offer you or individual session. That's what I can tell you at the moment. But if you have questions and things like that, we can
thank
be in
you.
touch.
And so data is available for individual sessions. So, I mean, if you're working, as you mentioned, it's good to work on one area at a time. So you don't want to tackle everything in one session. It's going to get confusing, and there won't be enough time to do that. You want to focus on, so you want to zero in on the area that you struggle with the most. So whether that be, and I'm seeing from the comments, the reading, the listening. So you might want to take on, maybe I usually recommend from clients that I've worked with in the past, at least 4 sessions, 4 classes. And so we do have, the link is below. So the link is in the comments there. Day sales services are available through our organization. So you click the link and you can see the options that are available there. But I usually recommend having at least a set of 2 to 4 sessions to work on each individual area that you're looking to improve. And I've seen where clients in the past have significantly improved. Because just remember, you need, for most program, like for the Federal Skilled Worker Program, you're looking at a CLB 7. That's the minimum. So getting 6 in each area. If you improve yourself from 6 all the way up to even 7, CLB 9, 7 in each area, with the exception of listening, which is 8, right? So if you can bring, and listening is something that I know a lot of people struggle with. So if you're at 6.5 with listening, and you can improve up to an 8, you're up to CLB 9. The difference in your score is 100 plus, and that's significant, right? So that can be the difference between you being selected for the program versus not, versus sitting in the pool and waiting for selection. So I would highly recommend that if you need additional support. And thank you guys. Thank you, Daysel, for coming, and for just introducing yourself to our wonderful group here.
Thank you very much, Kay and the group. Okay, all the best for your journey.
Awesome. Thank you, Daysel. Have a good one. Yeah, some great comments here, and thank you guys so much for your participation today. I trust that this session was useful, helpful for you. We're trying to see how best we can help you on your journey to Canada. That's why we're here. We're trying to make this journey as seamless as possible. And so reach out, if you need support, if you need additional guidance, whether that be through, getting additional resources through Monica. She did provide a lot of links that you guys can take advantage of. Or if you need one-on-one support through a tutor, through Daysel. And we have some other tutors who are working with us as well. We have some at different levels in their or different stages of their profession. So definitely reach out and make use of the resources that are available, so that you can get to Canada and be on that, make progress on that journey to Canada. All right. So thank you guys so much. And you're very welcome. It was a pleasure getting this information to you. And so we will catch you guys next week again. So as you know, every Wednesday we do a session like this where we teach on some topic. So I'll see you guys next week, and have a great rest of your day.